If you're Donald Trump and you lose big on election night, including to your arch rival Gavin Newsom in California, where 64% of Californians passed Prop 50 to redo their congressional maps to have 5 more Democratic seats to balance out what happened in Texas, what do? Well, I'll tell you what happened. A law firm affiliated with Donald Trump's Department of Justice Civil Rights Division head, Harmeet Dillon, and the Dillon Law Group just filed a new lawsuit today, right off the election, challenging the passage of Prop 50 and the election maps and the congressional maps. Except they've got a major problem. Their argument has already been rejected by the United States Supreme Court during an oral argument just about a month ago about Louisiana maps. It is okay, the United States Supreme Court MAGA majority says, to redo your maps if it's for political purposes. And the maps that were redone by California were not racial gerrymandering to try to create more Hispanic districts. It's the exact same amount of Hispanic districts. It just carves out 5 more seats. And so that's not a racial or and by the way, Hispanic is not a race. It's not a racial gerrymandering or an ethnic group gerrymandering. It is a political gerrymandering, which the Supreme Court under the Voting Rights Act is okay with. This case is dead on arrival. It's brought by David Tangipa, an assemblyman in California. Wait till I show you a clip of him. You'll know everything you need to know by his craziness. And this is brought by the same law firm and the same group that already challenged putting Prop 50 on the board during the election, having it up on the ballot, and they lost that too. And they're in the Central District of California in Los Angeles. This is a loser lawsuit. This is a lawsuit that gets filed by losers who lose on election night. It's another reason, Donald Trump had a huge argument today at the Supreme Court that he said he was going to go to about tariffs. I have a whole separate series of hot takes today about what happened at the oral argument. I'll tell you what didn't happen. Donald Trump didn't show up because he's a coward. And now he has his people on the ground use a law firm for his civil rights division head to file against Prop 50 and the will of the American people in California. No surprise, her civil rights division, for the first time in history, during that oral argument at the Supreme Court about the Voting Rights Act and Louisiana maps, first time ever, said that did not defend the Voting Rights Act and said that it was unconstitutional. Does that shock you that this is the firm? I'm Michael Popok. I'm not shocked by much. You're here on Legal AF. Take a minute, hit the free subscribe button. I'll put up on Legal AF Substack the lawsuit. And let me tell you the many, many reasons why this is going to fail relatively quickly in front of whatever judge is assigned in Los Angeles. It says this lawsuit challenges the constitutionality of California's congressional district maps that will be implemented following the passage of Prop 50. Specifically, the California legislature violated the 14th and 15th Amendments, now we're into the Voting Rights Act, to the Constitution when it drew new congressional district lines based on race, specifically to favor Hispanic voters. I will declare once and for all, Hispanic is not a race. Hispanic is not a racial group. There are black and white Hispanics. There are Asian Hispanics without cause or evidence to justify it. Then they go off talking about the 14th and 15th Amendment. They completely ignore the rulings at the United States Supreme Court about Louisiana's maps. They don't take into account the Voting Rights Act because they want to ignore it. And of course, it says that on page 3, paragraph 7, they say the legislature not only had no evidence that the existing Citizen Redistricting Commission's 2021 maps violated the Voting Rights Act and therefore racial gerrymandering was justified, but also the consultant who they hired said that it complied with the Voting Rights Act. Look, at the end of the day, just as Texas was able to redistrict for themselves and come up with 5+ Republican seats because you're allowed to redistrict to enhance and strengthen your political might, Democrats are able to do the exact same thing. This is just a stalking horse lawsuit that's doomed to failure. But I wanted to point it out because independent people that have looked at the results of the maps have said it doesn't strengthen Hispanic voting at all. It just creates 5 new seats. But before I get to why this is sour grapes, that it's doomed to failure, let me play a clip so you know what we're dealing with the plaintiff here, along with 12 others, who's in the House, named David Tanjipa. Let's play the clip.
The people of California are being used by Governor Newsom and this legislative body, and they've admitted it. And we know that there are areas that are wrong within this because they're lying on the ballot title. They're not even giving us the fiscal impact analysis accurately. It actually says on their report, this will cost a couple $1 million to the counties across to handle that. Typically, you would just say this will cost $250 million to the California budget. But instead, they're hiding them. Misleading. They won't tell us who drew the maps. They won't tell us who was a part of the process.
I think you need all you need to know now about the MAGA that are bringing these lawsuits in California. Unfortunately for them, they're in California, which has a liberal to moderate federal judicial base here. But I think I'd be remiss if we didn't point out and call out the role of the Dhillon Law Group in bringing this lawsuit. Now, I don't know what her current ownership structure is with the law firm. Maybe she sold out her partnership interest. Maybe she gave it up. I don't know. But she is affiliated. Her name is still on the firm. They didn't take it down. And they market themselves as a MAGA law firm, a MAGA magnet, while she sits as the head of the Civil Rights Division. Now, Harmeet Dhillon has destroyed the Civil Rights Division and its legacy and everything that made it worthwhile to protect the civil rights of Americans. Instead, she's weaponized that department to use it to go after the disadvantaged in our society and claim that she's not going out to protect civil rights. She's going out to weaponize the department to go after civil rights. It's like Fahrenheit 451 with Ray Bradbury, the famous science fiction book. Firemen are setting fires to books and burning books. They're not putting out fires. Same thing with the Civil Rights Division.
Just the other day, we had Governor Newsom on our set for an exclusive interview. I know you saw this. Here's some of what he had to say about this.
They're going to lose the midterm elections, but they want to set up the criterion conditions to go to federal court to not certify them by alleging something that doesn't exist. And that's exactly why the DOJ was sent in.
So this was your response, literally just one word, lame. Do you care to elaborate and to what he's suggesting there?
Well, yeah, I've also, had some other words to say about this, but look, he's not. I'm sorry, Gavin. I've lived in San Francisco under his leadership. I mean, this type of, he doesn't have a crystal ball. He has no idea what he's talking about. And I don't know why he's afraid of free and fair elections. I mean, who should be afraid of that? It's really quite silly. He himself has been extremely demagogic when it comes to this Prop 50 election that's on the ballot. And suddenly he's afraid that neutral election observers, trained DOJ officials, federal prosecutors are going to take a couple of days off from their work and stand there and watch what's happening in some of the counties, mainly in Southern California. What's the problem, bro? I mean, it's unnecessary rhetoric. We should all take the rhetoric down, try to be neutral. We should all be in favor of everybody feeling confident in the outcome of these elections, including both parties. And so that's the goal here. Everyone should feel confident, accept the outcome of the election. That's what I want. That's what every leader should want.
So here's what's going to happen to this case. It's going to get assigned to a judge. I'll do an update report on it. And relatively quickly, because this has been brought against Gavin Newsom in his official capacity as the governor of California and the Secretary of State, the Attorney General of that state, Rob Bonta, who I'm going to have on in a few minutes to do an interview with here on Legal AF, is going to have to deal with this case. And they're going to make short work of this ridiculous lawsuit. If you were questioning whether Donald Trump thought he lost on election night, it's lawsuits like this that should indicate to you that he has shrunken down to size. We have the incredible shrinking president in front of our very eyes. The fact that he allowed or authorized or signaled that this lawsuit should be filed. And of course, with his law firm of choice, the Civil Rights Division head's former or current law firm. We'll continue to follow it all right here on Legal AF. Hit the free subscribe button. Come over to the come over to the Legal AF Substack and do the exact same thing. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popak. I'm Michael Popak, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touches Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popak Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popak Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popak Firm today at 1-877-POPAK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopakfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popak Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.